Welcome back to the Andy Ramage podcast. This is a different episode. These episodes are going to be a bit shorter and sharper with some of the incredible coaches that I've trained over the last few years now. And we have an incredible coach with us today, Paul McCormack. How you doing, Paul?
Yeah, really good, Andy. Thanks for having me.
Top work. I'm just going to set the scene for Paul. Paul's the founder of the Intention Performance with a 10, i.e. the number 10. After making the decision to take a break from alcohol in 2020, a 1 month challenge, a bit like myself, morphed into 100 days, then a year. Paul is now 1,000+ days. Go on, Paul. Alcohol free and is helping professionals audit their own relationships with booze in relation to peak performance. Again, very much like myself, I think it's totally needed. It's just exploding at the moment, and rightly so. Paul is an alcohol-free accredited coach with a positive psychology coaching diploma with myself. Having trained with myself, his signature circuit breaker package combines a blend of coaching and mentoring to facilitate personal and professional growth for his clients. He's also the author of an ebook, we're going to get to that in a minute, Leaving the Booze Behind, that you can access free from his website. We'll get to links and all that good stuff later. Paul, let's do this. This is our first time we've figured out together.
Yeah,
let's do this.
Nice. Well, I'm glad to be the first, Andy.
Exactly. So, all right, let's just get straight into it. So, why do you do what you do?
Well, it's a great question, actually, and it's something I've thought long and hard about, because I've got to this point after quite a few years of trying to figure out what it is I want to do. And it all kind of started from obviously giving up my relationship with, or changing my relationship with alcohol, I should say, back in 2020. I kind of went on a journey, a personal development journey, and I realized that all the kind of positive changes that I made in my life were so profound that I wanted to make sure that other people had the opportunity to do that as well. So I thought, why not try and use my experience of being alcohol-free, augment that with a wonderful kind of coaching skill set that I've gained through you, and get out there and make sure that people are able to maximize their performance and understand that there is a cheat code in being able to stop living your life on hard mode and actually, change your relationship with alcohol, and improve your performance. So that's why I do it. I want to work with people who are keen to improve their performance and are open-minded to take a break from alcohol, and work with them to make sure we can get them to where they want to go.
Oh, I love that. So the cheat code being a break from alcohol, which is so cool. And that's what I discovered myself. A lot of the coaching that I've been doing for all of these years, the last 12 years, and getting people really great results, very often has nothing to do with my coaching, maybe a little bit to do with my coaching, but more so the fact that predominantly the people that I train go alcohol free. And as we both know, that is the cheat code. And you said something else that I really liked. We make it hard for ourselves to function optimally in this world that we live in, because most of the time, unbeknownst to us, certainly for me for about best part of 20 years, I was drinking alcohol. So everything was 10 times harder than it needed to be. And then by removing it, the cheat code, as you described, you start to get incredible results. But also, I think it's great to have a guide with you, in this instance, yourself, someone like yourself, i.e. a coach, that can help you go on that exploratory journey of thyself as you start to get to know yourself, which is pretty cool. And on that note, you've published a book, which I saw just recently. I love the title on the cover, Leaving Booze Behind. You've just released this book. It's an ebook. You mentioned you can get it from your website.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so that's been a few years in the making, to be honest. I started writing that one back in 2020 when I was kind of, I think, 3 or 4 months in, and I was starting to kind of, stack all those beautiful benefits of not drinking. And it made me do some kind of self-reflection and introspection into my own journey, or own relationship with alcohol up until that point. So I kind of had the idea of like, let's document my alcohol career. And I did from my first drink to my last drink, and kind of all the kind of milestones in there. So that's kind of part one of the book. It's in 3 parts. The second part is all about the benefits that I received from changing my relationship. All the beautiful things like, the career prospects that are skyrocketing, the financials that are going up as well. Relationships are getting better. I'm sleeping better. I've got more time. I've got more energy. So I talk all about that in part 2, and then kind of bolt on my personal experiences of all of those kind of pillars. And then in part 3, it's a bit of an unapologetic plug for intention performance to kind of say, yeah, well, once you kind of live all those benefits, let's actually live them together, and let me help you and kind of work with you. Can hold you accountable, and then we can start working together on some of your kind of personal and professional development, and reaching all the goals that you set out for yourself. So a bit of a labour of love. It actually started off with a completely different title, and up until about a month ago, I was set on calling it "I Quit Alcohol by Mistake." Because that is what happened, and you mentioned at the start, I never planned to never drink again. But that's just what happened after, I say, living all the benefits. But I just thought the title wasn't quite right. For me, it trivialized the achievement, if you like, almost, by saying it was a mistake. But the sentiment does stand. It was never my intention to do that, and that's what happened.
Yeah, and I think that is the case for so many people, myself included, that if you asked or polled most people before they take a break, that never again thing is far too much. And that's why my philosophy's always been just take a break and see how you get on. Secretly, I know, and I've known this all along, that lots of people will have the same experience as yourself. They get a month or 2 in and then have that revelation of, why would I go back? And again, I think that's what's great about the ebook, staging it in those parts, because people like to see real people making real progress in real time, which I didn't charter those chapters, as it were. I was sort of almost the end product, because there was nothing and no one to sort of share with. So the fact that you're actually taking people on that journey with you and then showing them through self-development and the work that you do that actually there's this much longer journey to go on. And that for me is how you end up in long-term sobriety and optimal performance for life. By the way, this is not a short-term thing. This is how you stay fit. This is how you maximize longevity and health. For me, I'm totally biased. I know you're on the same train as me. Like long-term for people, really optimize everything that you do, from your personal relationships to your, career performance. And on that note, if the ideal person walked through the front door that you'd like to work with, or you predominantly work with, what would they look like?
Yeah, so that's any professional who is open-minded and ambitious and wants to kind of fulfill their potential. For me, I'm looking for kind of carbon copies of myself almost. I want to help people like me, I suppose. And I was at a point in my life where there was a kind of a glass ceiling almost that the alcohol seemed to provide for me, but I didn't realize that until I took the break. But there was only so far I could progress in my career and my fitness, and it was holding me back in other areas of my life. So essentially, anyone who's, as I say, ambitious, driven, kind of goal orientated, wants to achieve more, but feels there's maybe something holding them back, and they haven't quite had the opportunity to, try the break from alcohol. That's the one thing I ask people to be open-minded about. I don't mandate it to work with me, but I know that's a really great, as I say, cheat code to help people to fulfill their potential, which is what it's all about, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is your story, isn't it? Like it was my story. And I think in coaching, we're drawn very often to help us effectively a year ago or 2 years ago or 10 years ago, or whenever we went through that discovery that actually by removing alcohol, it was your cheat code to optimal career success. Now you combine that with all this learning around coaching, you can bring the two together to get people incredible results. That's what it's all about. And on that note, so what inspired you then? At which point to train as a coach, think, do you know what? I've reached that point. And I talk about this a lot. I think it's the alcohol-free trilogy. There's you step into the unknown, you take a break from alcohol. It goes on a longer journey, which involves self-development. And then often there's this next piece, the sense that there's got to be more to this short and precious life, the fact that you want to give back. So how did that manifest for you?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Andy. Before we had that conversation, at the start of last year, it wasn't really on my radar to become an alcohol-free coach. But I'm so glad I am. But at the very beginning, I was just thinking, I've got this personal experience. How can I translate that into helping people? And I was thinking, probably in my own head, it was going to be more of a kind of mentoring relationship that I would have with potential clients. But we had that conversation. You explained to me exactly what coaching was and what it wasn't. And I joined the cohort, and my God, I've picked up so many incredible skills that have really kind of, they've helped me in my personal and professional development and in my kind of day job as well. So that's what kind of brought me into it. And I realized, okay, if I can pair my personal experience of living kind of alcohol free for an extended period of time, and then learning this incredible skill set, been able to, have these fantastic conversations with people, been able to properly listen to them and be able to ask the right questions, to hold a safe space, to hold them accountable as well. You combine both of those together, then it's a real kind of recipe for success for people to achieve further success in their own careers.
Brilliant. And what are some of the benefits that you've personally noticed, not just in the coaching arena, but your career, personal life?
Yeah, massive. I don't want to say I'm a different person, but I mean, I've learned so much and grown so much through the coaching skill set that I've picked up. I think the main things for me are I'm a much better communicator now. Being able to kind of listen better to people, being able to read body language a little bit better as well. And then when you augment that with all the kind of positive psychology things that we've learned and we've picked up too, it really kind of helps you read and understand and help people a little bit better. So that's translated into my day job, it's translated into my relationships. And I just feel like a more all-rounded person thanks to the skill set that I've picked up. So it really kind of impacted me in kind of every aspect of life. And yeah, not only came out of it as a a confident coach, but I'm actually a more confident professional and more confident kind of husband and son and brother. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
Oh, wonderful. And what are some of the obstacles that you've faced along the way? Some of those limiting beliefs that maybe you've had to overcome?
Yeah. Those were quite prominent in the beginning. I must say, we had that first session that you do, and you're asked to go and coach someone, and you're feeling not very confident. You don't know what you're doing. It's all messy. So there's definitely
Gloriously
lots
messy.
of fear in there. Absolutely, yeah. I dare to watch that first recording back. I'll probably never do that. But there's lots of fear, lots of kind of self-limiting beliefs. Am I able to do this? Is this something I've got in my locker? But once you start doing it, and once you start kind of realizing that the techniques actually do work, they're so simple, but they work. It's incredible. Then you start to build that confidence. So in the beginning, there was a lot of fear, a lot of self-limiting beliefs. But as we learned about the kind of the fixed mindset and the growth mindset as well, that completely transformed my approach to everything. And I dare say it, I used to call myself a realist, Andy. And I think potentially looking back now, I was probably a realist with a tinge of negativity in there. I was probably a little bit of a pessimist. But now I'm absolutely not. I'm an optimist, and it's really changed my outlook and mindset. And so now everything's a learning. If you make a mistake, it's data. Failure's all part of success. So yeah, those obstacles are no longer, but they were definitely in the beginning.
Yeah, and that growth mindset you touched on, that's a big part of what we do really throughout the whole course, isn't it? It's an adventure in growth mindset, and growth mindset believing that there's no such thing as failure, only feedback or data, as you said brilliantly just a second ago. And that allows you this newfound courage to go out and collide with life and try different things, because actually you realize it's not about being perfect, which is a fixed style mindset. It's actually about learning. And the way we learn is through trial and error, and we get things wrong and then we learn from it, and then we go again and we get things wrong, we learn from it, and we become more resilient, robust and confident. I see that continually throughout that coaching experience. I think that's probably one of the biggest benefits that I've noticed, is that sort of inner glow of confidence seems to bubble up when you realize you can do difficult things. And even if they don't work out, you learn from
Yep.
them. So it's just this beautiful tapestry of learning that you can then reshare as a coach, which is so cool. And then tell me this, so you get into coaching. I know you're out in the world coaching at the moment. How did it feel?
Yep.
Because I'm always interested. How did it feel when you got that first note of thanks, in whatever shape that looked like for you?
So I'm going. It was job satisfaction like I've never had before. That's the kind of the first thing I want to say about it. And I always used to joke with my wife about when we're watching football together, right? Which doesn't happen very often. She might watch it occasionally with me, but whenever a footballer scores a goal and they have that
Yeah.
moment of celebration and there's just sheer joy, and I used to always say, do you know what? I'm never going to get that level of job satisfaction. How do you get that? I'm not going to be a professional footballer. I'm not going to have that moment of pure joy. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm getting the same joy as a professional footballer from working with my clients, but I tell you what, it's close. When you work with someone and you realise that you're making a positive impact in their life, and you get to witness those kind of breakthroughs happen in real time, and you're the one that's kind of helping them eke those out and uncover those and untangle those from their own mind. And then when you kind of see the progression of someone who was really stuck on something or really wanted to get somewhere, and you've managed to either help them get unstuck or help them to get to that point B, like it's incredible. It feels great. Yeah, that's how it feels for me. And I've had so many moments, not even of verbal feedback to say thank you or this is great. It's just been those little breakthroughs that I've noticed, or even people have sent me messages about reading my book. I posted on LinkedIn the other day about how someone said, "My God, it was like reading my own life story, your relationship with alcohol and how you've tackled it." So even those little bits just fill me with such joy and happiness, and the fact that I'm kind of the message that I'm putting out there is resonating with people and hopefully making a difference is you can't buy that. It's brilliant.
No, it's the greatest buzz. I think that's why, in some ways, we all do it, because we want to feel like we're contributing to this short and precious life. And then on that note, do you feel you've found more sense of meaning and purpose in your life since you've set sail on this coaching adventure?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I kind of alluded to it before. Things were a little bit blurry. I knew what I wanted to do in terms of a few years ago, I started writing the book. I thought, right, if I'm able to help myself, can I help others? But going on the coaching journey has absolutely crystallized that for me. As I say, I've picked up the new skill set. I've been able to change my mindset. And yeah, I'm now kind of not I'm solely focused on changing the lives of others. That sounds a bit speculative and a bit out there, but that is what I'm here to do now. I want to work with people who want to better themselves, and I know a way that can make that happen. So that's what I want to do, and get in front of those people and make that change for them in their lives.
Yeah, wonderful. And what's the big dream? What does it look like for you in 6 years' time?
Well, what I'd love to do is just have the opportunity to do this on a full-time basis and be able to positively impact the lives of as many people as possible, whether that's one person a week or whether that's 20 people per week. I want to be in a position where I'm able to make those impacts, or help people make those positive impacts in their life. I think when you find something that you're truly passionate about, being able to make that a vocation is an absolute luxury. And I feel like I've kind of found that I've found my ikigai, the kind of Japanese phrase of finding your passion, your skill set, and merging those together. Probably not pronounced that properly, but let's gloss over that.
No, I think you
But
did
yeah,
a good
that's
job.
what it means to me.
And that is so
So
I'm very
I just want to
analytical.
continue down this path.
I love
Go
it.
on.
It's like the two circles, the meeting of two circles, isn't it? Akigai,
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it. And the bit in the middle is a vescopiscus, if anyone wants to know the technical
Oh,
term for
wow.
that. But it's that meeting of your passion, your interests with potentially the thing that generates the income and the economics in your life. I think you've nailed it. Genuinely, for me, I feel very grateful and very fortunate. I get to do what I love. And if you give me the weekend off, I want to come and do the thing that I love, which happens to be the thing that not only brings meaning and purpose to my life, hopefully adds some value to other people's lives. It's also the thing that generates the economics that allows me to, look after my family and nip away skiing like I did this week. And hence why we had to put back this
Yeah.
session. Like that's the dream, and that's where you're heading. And I genuinely feel in that place like I couldn't do any more. I feel like I've found it. I found what I'm looking for. The thing that I love to do that generates the income that I need. You don't need anything else other than that. There is no retiring from something that you adore and adds value to people's life. I feel like I'm contributing. I can, move around
Mm-hmm.
because of this technology that we have. I run a workshop from the slopes in Switzerland. It's like, I just don't think it gets any better than that. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
All the way.
Yeah.
So just on a bit of a final note, if anyone's listening to this, they're thinking, oh, that sounds interesting. Would you have any advice to anyone that's thinking, maybe I'll step into that third part of the trilogy, as it were, and contribute and give back through coaching?
Yeah. So in terms of people thinking about becoming a coach,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would just say do it. If you've got any inclination, then just do it. It's been one of the best decisions I've made for myself, probably behind deciding to change my relationship with alcohol. But yeah, it's been a real positive skill set, which is, as I said earlier, kind of impacted my day-to-day life. Even if you don't want to become a coach at the end of it, and you've got no intention of that, actually just picking up the skill set is going to help you in your day job or in your relationships or just in your outlook on life. So absolutely, I'm a massive advocate for people to come and explore it and see what they can learn from it. As I say, even if it doesn't translate into being a coach at the end of it, I'm certain that you'll pick up things that'll make your life better day to day.
Love it. And where can people find out more about you?
So LinkedIn's the best place for that. I'm kind of concentrating on that as my kind of go-to-market channel. So I'm on there, Coach Paul McCormack, and yeah, I post on there as often as I can, trying to do 5 days a week. But that's where you'll find out kind of. I think I put a bit of my history in the profile. I'm trying to do daily updates so people can kind of follow on my story. But I do have a website as well, which is intentionperformance.com, with it being IN10. So IN10, TION. Bit of a play on words there, or play on numbers. And on there you can get access to my book as well. So I've dropped that on there. Just pop in your email address and you'll get direct access to my book. And then you can read the full story, parts 1, 2, and 3. And then if people want to have a chat with me face to face or over video call, then I've got a Calendly link as well. But you can get all of that from a LinkedIn profile. So that's probably the best place to direct people.
Absolutely brilliant. And we will share a link to that LinkedIn profile in the show notes, as well as the website address. Paul, we did it. We've covered a lot there. We've covered a lot in 22 minutes. Great work. Considering that was our first one and your first one, well done. Thank you for joining me today. I wish you all the best in the future. Please do check out all the brilliant work that Paul does. An incredible coach. He's got a wonderful approach. And for me, I'm completely biased in many ways. That underpinning of taking a break from alcohol and working with a great performance coach just gets you accelerated results in every single area of your life. So why not check out Paul? And then, of course, if you're inspired by these conversations, do come and check out our coach training programs, our diploma in coaching and positive psychology, the same course that Paul took. I'm sure you'll get just as much meaning, purpose, and momentum in your life by coming and joining us on one of those courses. All the details will be in the show notes. Paul, let's call that a wrap. Top work. I'm sure we will do a round 2 at some point. Good man.
Love to. Thanks, Andy.